Let us begin by settling into a space of comfort and stillness, allowing the body to relax and the mind to gently drift away from the demands of the day. Picture yourself in a place of perfect tranquility, perhaps a quiet corner of a library or a sun-drenched office where the only sound is the soft, rhythmic hum of the air conditioning. A white noise that wraps around you like a warm blanket. We're going to explore a story today, a narrative not of conflict, but of process, of human nature, and the delicate balance of the professional world. Imagine, if you will, the ecosystem of a workplace. It is a living, breathing thing. A structure built of glass and steel, yet filled with the beating hearts of people. There is a gentle cadence to the office, the soft clatter of keyboards sounding like rain on a tin roof, the murmur of hushed conversations drifting from the break room, the smell of brewing coffee that signals the start of a morning. In this environment, people spend the majority of their waking hours side by side, mind meeting mind, energy mixing with energy. It is only natural, in this shared space of collaboration and proximity, that connections deepen. We are social creatures, after all, drawn to one another by shared goals, shared frustrations, and shared triumphs. Sometimes, amidst the spreadsheets and the meetings, a spark is ignited. A glance lingers a second too long, a smile carries a little more warmth than usual, and a professional relationship quietly blooms into something more personal. It is a tale as old as work itself, the inevitable intersection of the heart and the career. But within this ecosystem, there are guardians, caretakers of the balance. We call them human resources. Picture the HR department not as a place of judgment, but as a quiet harbour, a sanctuary of confidentiality and order. The office of an HR professional is often a calm space, organised, private, a place where the door is often closed, not to exclude, but to protect. Our story begins here, in the stillness of this room. The desk is tidy, papers stacked with precision, a computer screen glowing with a soft blue light. The world outside the window moves at its own pace, clouds drifting lazily across the sky, casting shifting shadows on the carpet. It is a Tuesday, perhaps, or a Wednesday, a day indistinguishable from the rest in its gentle rhythm. And then, a notification arrives. It is not a loud alarm, nor a shouting voice. It is merely a digital whisper, a new email appearing in the inbox, or perhaps a folded note slid quietly under the door. The subject line is vague, or perhaps starkly clear. It is an anonymous tip. There is a unique weight to anonymity, a voice without a face, a story without a narrator. The HR professional pauses, taking a moment to breathe in the quiet air of the room. They open the message. The words are there, black text on a white background, informing them of a romance blooming between two employees. Perhaps they are peers. Perhaps there is a difference in rank. But the secret is now out, floating in the digital ether, waiting to be acknowledged. Let us slow down and consider this moment, the moment the information transfers from the unknown to the known. There is no immediate rush to action, no sirens, no panic. In the world of professional HR, this is a moment of contemplation. The recipient of the tip leans back in their chair, the leather creaking softly, clasping their hands together. They look out the window again, watching the world continue its rotation, unaffected by this new piece of knowledge. The mind of the HR professional begins to sift through the layers of this situation, gently, methodically. They are not looking for scandal, They are looking for context. They think of the individuals named in the message. They visualize their faces, their roles, their contributions to the tapestry of the company. The tip is just a data point, a ripple in the calm surface of the water. In these first few minutes, nothing happens externally. The office outside continues its hum. Phones ring in the distance. The printer whirs to life. Footsteps pad softly down the hallway. But inside the quiet sanctuary of the HR office, a process has been triggered. It is a process governed by policy, yes, but also by empathy. The anonymous tip acts as a key, unlocking a specific protocol. But before the protocol begins, there is the human element to consider. Why was the tip sent? Was it born of genuine concern for the company's integrity? Was it a whisper of envy? Or was it simply a matter of factual reporting? The motivation of the sender remains a mystery, dissolved in the anonymity, leaving only the fact of the romance itself to be held in the light. The HR professional takes a sip of water, the cool liquid grounding them in the present moment. They read the message again, slower this time, absorbing the details. Names, dates, observations. They are looking for the nuances. Is there an allegation of favoritism? Is there a conflict of interest? Or is it simply two people finding solace in one another's company? There is a profound stillness in reading such a message. It is the burden of knowing something that others do not. It is the weight of holding a secret that belongs to someone else. It is a reminder of how porous the boundaries between our private selves and our public selves truly are. The first step, the very first tangible action, is often just to document the receipt, the click of the mouse, the typing of a date, the saving of the file. It is a bureaucratic act, dry and simple, yet it signifies the transition of the rumour into the realm of the official. The romance, which existed in the soft focus of lunches and late-night texts, has now entered the sharp focus of the corporate record. But still, the atmosphere remains calm. The HR representative does not storm out of the office. They do not pick up the phone immediately. Instead, they consult the compass of the organisation, the employee handbook. They open the document, scrolling through the pages until they find the section on fraternization or personal relationships. They read the words they have likely read 100 times before. The policy is usually clear, yet open to interpretation. It speaks of disclosure, of reporting lines, of professional conduct. It is the map by which they must navigate this delicate terrain. They compare the anonymous tip against the map. Does this relationship violate the rules, or is it simply a deviation from the norm? Imagine the quiet rustle of pages, or the soft scroll of the screen. The room feels timeless. This is the incubation period of the investigation. It is a time of gathering thoughts, of preparing the mind for the conversations that must eventually take place. But for now, it is just the observer and the observed information. There is a gentleness to this phase. It is not about punishment, it is about assessment. The HR professional considers the culture of the workplace. Is this a strict environment, rigid and hierarchical? Or is it a fluid, creative space where lines are naturally blurred? The context shapes the reaction. They might close their eyes for a moment, visualizing the organizational chart, seeing the invisible lines of authority that connect every employee. They trace the path from one person to the other. Do their paths cross? Does one hold sway over the career of the other? This is the crux of the matter, the pivot point upon which the entire process turns. If the two individuals are peers, working in different departments, the tension releases slightly. The ripple is small. But if there is a hierarchy, the ripple grows. Yet even then, the response is measured. The anonymous tip sits on the screen, a static image. The HR professional knows that once they act, the reality of those two people will change. The privacy they thought they had will be gently lifted away. It is a heavy responsibility to be the one who pulls back the curtain. So they take their time. They might draft a plan, writing down notes with a smooth, flowing pen on a fresh notepad. Step 1, verify. Step 2, observe. Step 3, converse. The handwriting is neat, deliberate. There is a soothing quality to making a list, bringing order to the chaos of human emotion. The air in the room feels thick with potential, but it is a peaceful thickness. It is the calm before the movement. The HR manager is the anchor in this situation, keeping the ship steady. They understand that workplace romances are not anomalies, they are inevitabilities. Where people gather, feelings grow. It is the law of nature operating within the law of commerce. As the first section of our journey draws to a close, we remain in this state of quiet contemplation. The tip has been received. The secret is known. The policy has been reviewed. The guardian of the workplace sits in the comfortable silence of their office, holding the knowledge gently in their hands, preparing to take the next step with grace, discretion, and care. The day moves on outside, the sun shifting its angle, the shadows lengthening, while inside, the wheels of process begin their slow, silent turn. The afternoon light begins to change, shifting from the bright, direct white of midday to a softer, warmer gold that spills across the polished surface of the desk. The office is a living ecosystem, a place of gentle rhythms and predictable cycles. The HR manager, still seated in the comfortable embrace of their chair, allows the information to settle. The tip regarding the workplace romance is no longer a surprise, but a variable, a new element introduced into the quiet equation of the workday. There is no rush here, no sudden movements. To react with haste would be to disrupt the calm water of the professional environment. Instead, there is a slow, deliberate expansion of awareness. The manager stands, the movement smooth and controlled, and decides to take a walk. It is not an investigation in the dramatic sense, but rather a stroll of observation, a way to feel the pulse of the floor. Walking out of the office, the sounds of the workplace drift in like a low tide. The soft clatter of keyboards, the murmur of distant conversations, the rhythmic hum of the ventilation system overhead. These are the sounds of productivity, the heartbeat of the company. The carpet underfoot is thick, absorbing the sound of footsteps, making the movement ghost-like and unobtrusive. The manager moves through the corridors, passing open doors and glass partitions. They are the guardian of this space, the keeper of its culture. They observe the interactions between colleagues, the handing off of files, the collaborative leaning over screens, the nodding of heads in agreement. It is a dance of cooperation, intricate and practiced. And then, the observation focuses, gently, on the individuals mentioned in the note. The manager does not stare, does not linger too long. It is a soft gaze, sweeping past like a breeze. They see the two of them, perhaps standing near the kitchenette, or seated at adjacent desks. There is a subtle energy to be found there, invisible to the casual observer, but clear to one who understands the nuances of human connection. It might be in the way they stand, slightly closer than policy dictates, but entirely natural to the heart. It might be in the angle of their shoulders, turned inward toward one another, creating a small, private circle within the larger room. Or perhaps it is merely a shared glance, A fleeting moment of eye contact that holds a weight, a history, a secret language known only to them. It is a beautiful thing, in its own way, to witness the resilience of human affection. Even here, amidst the spreadsheets and the deadlines, the fluorescent lights and the corporate structure, the flower of romance finds a crack in the pavement through which to grow. The HR manager observes this without judgment. There is no malice in their heart, only a professional duty to ensure balance. They note the interaction, filing the image away in their mind alongside the anonymous note. It is verification, soft and silent. The reality matches the report. The variable is confirmed. Returning to the sanctuary of the office, the manager closes the door, shutting out the hum of the floor, returning to the quiet stillness of their private space. They sit again, feeling the support of the chair, the grounding presence of the desk. Now comes the second phase of this gentle process, the review of the digital landscape. This is not about prying, but about understanding the patterns. On the screen, the manager opens the communication logs. The mouse clicks softly, a rhythmic sound in the silent room. They look at the flow of emails, the timestamps of chat messages. They are not reading the content, for the words are personal, private. Instead, they are looking at the shape of the communication. Is there a frequency that stands out? Are there messages sent late into the evening, long after the workday has folded its wings? Is there a density of connection that outweighs the professional necessity? The screen glows with data, lines of text and numbers that paint a picture of connection. It is like looking at a map of a river system, seeing where two streams merge and flow together, becoming one current. The manager scrolls slowly, the movement of the finger on the mouse wheel deliberate and calm. The patterns confirm what the eyes have seen. There is a closeness here, a digital footprint of the bond that exists in the physical world. It is a validation of the intuition, a confirmation that the atmosphere in the office has indeed shifted. But there is another layer to consider, one that requires a deep and contemplative wisdom. The manager leans back, steepling their fingers, gazing out the window at the sky, which is now deepening into a rich, dusty blue. They must weigh the implications. Workplace romances are not forbidden by nature, only managed by policy. The question is not one of right or wrong, but of conflict and fairness. Is one of them a supervisor? Does one hold the keys to the other's advancement? Is there a power dynamic that could, even unintentionally, cast a shadow over the fairness of the team? The manager reflects on the organizational chart, visualizing the lines of reporting like the branches of a tree. They trace the names, seeing where they sit on the boughs of the company structure. If they are peers, the path is smooth. A simple disclosure, a gentle reminder of boundaries. If there is a hierarchy, the path requires more care, more navigation, perhaps a restructuring of reporting lines to protect both the company and the individuals. It is a puzzle, a delicate arrangement of human lives and professional responsibilities. The manager feels the weight of this responsibility, but it is not a heavy burden. It is a balanced weight, like holding a scale. They are the stabilizer, the one who ensures that the ship remains level, even as the winds of emotion blow. The decision forms slowly, crystallizing in the quiet air. A conversation must be had, not a confrontation, but a dialogue. A space must be opened where the truth can be spoken without fear. The manager reaches for their calendar, the digital grid that organizes time. They look for a window, a pocket of time where the rush of the day has subsided, where minds can be calm. Tomorrow, perhaps in the late morning, when the coffee has been drunk and the initial flurry of emails has been answered. They select a time slot. They choose a location. It will not be in this office, which might feel too formal, too authoritative. Instead, they book a small conference room, a neutral ground, a room with windows, with light, a space that belongs to everyone and no one. The invitation is drafted. The words are chosen with the precision of a poet. There is no mention of the tip, no mention of romance, no language that would trigger alarm. A quick check-in, or a brief touch base regarding team dynamics, or simply, time to catch up. The keyboard clacks softly, a gentle percussion. The tone is warm, inviting, professional yet approachable. The manager reads it over, once, twice. They check the tone, ensuring it conveys safety. The goal is to bring them in, not to push them away. With a soft click, the invitation is sent. It travels through the digital ether, landing silently in the inboxes of the individuals. A small notification, a ping, a ripple in their day. The manager sits back, the task for the moment complete. The sun has moved further, casting long shadows across the floor, painting the room in shades of amber and violet. The office outside begins to wind down, the frantic energy of the day settling into the slower rhythm of the evening. There is a sense of readiness now. The facts have been gathered, the observations made, the patterns analyzed, the stage set. The HR manager breathes in deeply, filling their lungs with the cool, conditioned air, and exhales slowly. They think about the couple, about the mixture of nervousness and relief they might feel when the secret is finally out in the open. Keeping a secret is exhausting work. It requires constant vigilance, a constant guarding of the self. In a way, the HR manager is preparing to offer them a gift. The gift of transparency. The freedom to stop hiding, provided the boundaries can be respected. The room is quiet. The screen dims. The manager picks up their pen again, making a small check mark on their notepad. The preparation phase is over. The bridge has been built. Now, they simply wait for the crossing. The anticipation is not anxious, but peaceful. It is the feeling of a gardener who has prepared the soil and now waits for the season to turn. The wheels of process continue to turn, silent and sure, moving everything toward a resolution that honors both the heart and the work. The day fades. The lights in the office hum, and the story rests, poised on the edge of the conversation to come. And so, the moment arrives. Not with a crash, nor with any sense of sudden disruption, but with the gentle inevitability of the evening tide coming in to meet the shore. The waiting comes to its natural end. There is a soft sound, a rhythmic cadence of footsteps approaching down the hallway. It is a sound the HR manager knows well. The sound of humanity, moving through the corridors of professional life. Each step brings the resolution closer, carrying with it the weight of the unknown and the promise of clarity. There is a knock at the door. 3 distinct, polite taps that resonate softly in the quiet room. It is not a demand, but a request for entry. A request to bridge the gap between secrecy and truth. The manager speaks a word of welcome, a low, steady invitation that floats through the air like a calming note. The handle turns. The latch clicks with a mechanical precision that feels satisfyingly final. And the door swings open. The air in the room shifts, subtle currents moving as the space expands to accommodate others. The individuals enter, bringing with them their own atmospheres, their own mixtures of apprehension and hope. But here, in this sanctuary of procedure and fairness, the anxiety begins to diffuse almost immediately. It meets the cool, conditioned stillness of the office and loses its heat, dissipating like steam rising from a warm cup into the winter air. They sit. The chairs accept their weight, the fabric rustling softly, a sound of settling in. There is a moment of silence, not an empty silence, but a pregnant one, filled with the potential for understanding. The HR manager looks at them, not with judgment, but with that same gardener's patience, seeing not just the rule that was bent, but the human impulse that bent it. The anonymous tip, that catalyst for this gathering, is no longer a weapon or a threat. It has become merely the key that unlocked this room, the prompt that allowed this necessary conversation to begin. The dialogue starts, low and measured. It is a conversation that flows like a slow river, navigating the bends and turns of policy with a gentle grace. The secret, which had likely felt like a heavy stone carried in a pocket, is taken out and placed on the desk. And in the light of the office, stripped of the shadows of hiding, it looks much smaller. It is just a fact, a connection between two people, a reality that simply needs to be managed, aligned, and documented. As the words are spoken, you can almost feel the physical release of tension in the room. Shoulders drop, inches at a time. The tight lines around eyes smooth out. The energy required to maintain a double life, to constantly check hallways and censor glances, is suddenly returned to them. It is reclaimed energy, now free to be used for work, for creativity, for peace. The HR manager explains the boundaries, the necessary disclosures, the conflict of interest forms. These are not punishments, they are structures. They are the trellis upon which the vine can grow safely, without bringing down the wall. The pen moves across the paper, a scratching rhythmic sound that is strangely soothing. It is the sound of order being restored. The forms are signed, the dates are written. With each stroke of the ink, the chaos of the unknown is tamed into the tranquility of the known. The secret is dead. Long live the truth. There is a profound sense of safety in this bureaucracy, a comfort in the realization that there is a process for everything, even for the unpredictable nature of the human heart. The meeting draws to a close. There is no fanfare, just a quiet nodding of heads, a shared understanding that the storm has passed, or perhaps that the storm never really arrived, only the fear of it. The air in the room feels cleaner now, lighter. The gift of transparency has been received. They stand up, the movement fluid and easy. The door opens again, and they step back out into the hallway. But they step out differently than they arrived. They walk with the lightness of those who have nothing left to hide. The hallway is no longer a gauntlet of potential discovery. It is just a hallway, lined with carpet and lit by soft fluorescence, leading them back to their duties. The dynamic has shifted from a fragile, hidden thing to a sturdy, acknowledged reality. The balance of the workplace is preserved, not by forbidding the human element, but by encompassing it, by widening the circle to include it. The HR manager remains alone once more. The door clicks shut, sealing the room back into its private stillness. They look down at the file on the desk. It is complete. The checklist is fully marked. The narrative has been resolved. There is a deep satisfaction in this, the satisfaction of the closer, the one who ties the loose ends of the day into a neat, secure knot. The file is closed, the cover folding over the papers with a soft thud. It is placed in the outgoing tray, a physical symbol of a duty discharged. The manager leans back, the leather of the chair creaking gently, a sigh of furniture adjusting to rest. The sun has dipped below the horizon outside the window now, the sky turning a deep, velvety indigo, the colour of deep sleep. The office lights seem to glow warmer against the backdrop of the coming night. The building begins to slow down around them. The distant hum of elevators becomes less frequent. The murmur of voices in the distance fades away, leaving only the white noise of the ventilation. A steady, rushing sound, like the breathing of the building itself. In and out. In and out. The workplace romance, the anonymous tip, the investigation, the meeting, it all recedes into the past, becoming just another layer in the long history of the office, another story absorbed by the walls. Everything is in its place. The policies held firm, the people were treated with dignity, the work continues. There is a profound sense of equilibrium, a stillness that resonates in the centre of the chest. It is the feeling of a calm lake after the ripples have reached the shore and vanished. The HR manager reaches out and switches off the desk lamp. The pool of light vanishes, replaced by the soft, ambient glow of the city outside, filtering through the blinds in stripes of shadow and silver. It is time to let go. The day's labour is finished. The mental load is set down. And just as the office finds its quiet, so too does the mind. The complexities of human interaction, the tangled webs of relationships, the structures we build to manage them, they all drift away. What remains is simple: the breath, the dark, the quiet. The story is over, the file is stored, the secret is told. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to solve, nothing left to worry about. The resolution has rippled out, smoothing the waters, leaving everything clear and calm and still. You can feel that same stillness settling over you now, a heavy, warm blanket of peace. The details of the day, the dramas of others, the workings of the world, they are all far away, behind closed doors, filed away in the quiet cabinets of the night. You are safe here. You are resting in the aftermath of resolution. The bridge has been crossed, the destination has been reached. Drifting now, floating on the certainty that everything has been handled. The systems work, the heart is resilient, the night is here to hold you. Rest now, in the quiet hum of the finished story. Rest, in the deep, predictable silence. Rest.